On a fateful July evening in 1994, in the picturesque setting of Scottsdale, Arizona, the vibrant Angela Maher, merely 21 years of age, was making her way home after a gracious act of kindness, offering a ride to a friend. However, destiny had a cruel design, as her journey intersected with that of a reckless, intoxicated driver, whose thoughtless actions would irrevocably alter lives and elude accountability. Angela, a Scottsdale native, faced the heart-wrenching loss of her father in 1991, a tragedy that left an indelible mark on her life. Yet, she and her family forged ahead, bound by resilience and unwavering love. Her compassionate spirit shone brightly during her high school years, particularly through her dedicated involvement with Students Against Drunk Driving, a cause she fervently championed after the tragic loss of a dear friend to a drunk driving incident. By the summer of 1994, Angela was thriving as a senior at Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska, where she excelled both academically and personally. In late July, she returned to Scottsdale for a brief respite, eager to celebrate her mother, Rose Maher's 57th birthday. Following the joyous festivities, Angela departed around 10 p.m. in her mother's pristine white Oldsmobile to collect a friend from a local establishment before heading home. As she drove southward along Scottsdale Road, little did she know that 31-year-old Gloria Schulze was leaving the bar, thunder and lightning, having indulged excessively in alcohol. Impaired and unsteady, Gloria took to the road in her maroon van. Mere moments before the tragic collision, her vehicle veered across the center line. Despite Angela's desperate attempt to alert her with a horn blast, Gloria failed to regain control. The two vehicles collided with devastating force, Gloria's van crashing into Angela's car and ultimately rolling over it. This catastrophic event unfolded a mere 5 minutes from Angela's home, resulting in severe blunt force trauma to her head as she was not wearing her seatbelt. Emergency responders arrived promptly, yet the catastrophic nature of the collision rendered their efforts futile. Angela was declared deceased at the scene. As the tragic news circulated, Rose Maher, who had been anxiously awaiting her daughter's return, was approached by police officers just before 1 a.m. They delivered the devastating information that Angela had been involved in an accident. The heart-wrenching revelation that her daughter's life had been abruptly taken by a drunk driver marked the onset of a prolonged and arduous quest for justice. Meanwhile, Gloria remained at the scene, her condition unmistakable from the outset. The officers observed her bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and the unmistakable scent of alcohol. A breathalyzer test indicated a blood alcohol content of 0.15, significantly exceeding the legal limit, with traces of marijuana also detected in her system. Despite these glaring signs of intoxication, the legal response was surprisingly lenient. Instead of being arrested immediately, Gloria was transported to the hospital for treatment of her injuries. This decision ignited outrage and bewilderment within the Maher family, who grappled with the incomprehensible reality of burying their daughter, while Gloria remained unrestrained. Legal proceedings ensued, with Gloria facing charges of manslaughter and reckless endangerment. By enlisting a high-priced attorney, her defense team managed to secure 6 delays in the trial. During this time, Gloria was mandated to undergo substance testing and report to the court weekly. Yet she began to neglect her appointments and failed to adhere to these stipulations. As the trial date loomed in April 2001, Gloria Schulze began plotting her escape. In the weeks leading up to her scheduled court appearance, she discreetly sold 2 of her vehicles and liquidated her credit cards, ensuring her departure went unnoticed. By the time the trial commenced, Gloria had disappeared, her vacant seat in the courtroom igniting a nationwide manhunt. The vanishing of Gloria was a devastating blow, leaving her family enveloped in a deep sense of betrayal and frustration. Despite relentless efforts, including features on America's Most Wanted and various national media platforms, Gloria Schulze remained a phantom. However, in the spring of 2024, a remarkable breakthrough emerged in the long-dormant case concerning Angela Maher's assailant, unveiling an astonishing twist. For decades, Gloria Schulze had eluded capture by escaping abroad and reinventing her identity. The cold case appeared destined for obscurity until an anonymous tip led investigators to an unexpected revelation. This pivotal moment arose when an informant contacted the Scottsdale police, pointing them toward a news article published in Yellowknife, Canada. The article was an obituary for a woman named Kate Dooley, who had resided in Yellowknife and succumbed to cancer in December 2019. It chronicled Dooley's life in Canada, highlighting her active participation in community events and her contributions to the mining sector. The name Kate Dooley proved to be a crucial lead. Further investigation revealed that Kate Dooley was, in fact, Gloria Schulze, the elusive drunk driver who had fled the United States following her tragic crime. Gloria had artfully evaded the American justice system by assuming a new identity and crafting a fresh existence far removed from her past. In Yellowknife, she became a beloved figure, celebrated for her role in organizing community fireworks displays and her involvement in local initiatives. She seamlessly integrated into her new surroundings, far from the shadows of her nearly 3-decade-old crime. Upon uncovering Gloria's new identity, Scottsdale investigators revisited the case. They discovered that Gloria had been arrested again in 2009 in Yellowknife for driving under the influence, a glaring testament to the fact that her criminal past had followed her across borders. Even so, the arrest failed to trigger any alert to U.S. authorities or link her to her previous transgressions. Gloria artfully evaded detection, living her life under a new persona, free from the burdens of her former misdeeds. The unveiling of Gloria's new identity and her existence in Canada ignited a whirlwind of feelings for the Maher family. Although Gloria Schulze had departed this world before justice could be realized, this revelation offered a measure of closure to a case that had lingered in obscurity for far too long. In May 1996, Laura "Lolly" Wienans and Julianne "Julie" Williams embarked on a tranquil escape to the enchanting Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. What was intended to be a serene retreat soon spiraled into a harrowing ordeal. The couple vanished without a trace, and after weeks of relentless searching, the quest for the missing women culminated in a devastating revelation. With the advent of advanced forensic technology, the case was reignited, leading to a breakthrough that would finally address decades of uncertainty. Lolly Winans and Julie Williams were individuals whose lives revolved around their profound love for nature and a commitment to aiding others. At the age of 26, Lolly possessed a vibrant spirit that seemed destined for the great outdoors. Hailing from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, she came from an affluent background but found her true essence in hiking boots rather than the confines of her privileged upbringing. After departing from a conventional college path, Lolly discovered her passion at Unity College in Maine, an institution renowned for its focus on environmental studies and sustainability. There, she honed her skills as a wilderness guide, working with at-risk youth and utilizing nature as a means of healing and personal growth. Meanwhile, 24-year-old Julie had recently graduated from Carleton College in Minnesota, where she earned a degree in geology. Her bond with nature was both scholarly and deeply personal, as she aspired to devote her life to the study and preservation of the environment. The two women crossed paths within shared circles of the outdoor community, their relationship blossoming from a mutual appreciation for the natural world. They complemented one another, Lolly's exuberance harmonizing with Julie's more introspective demeanor. Together, they meticulously planned their trip to Shenandoah National Park in May 1996, seeking to celebrate their love and escape the demands of their busy lives. However, what should have been a tranquil journey ended in unfathomable tragedy. As dusk fell on May 24, 1996, the serenity of Shenandoah National Park was shattered. Lolly Winans and Julie Williams, who had been savoring their getaway, had assured their families they would remain in touch regularly. As the days slipped by without any communication from them, anxiety began to escalate. By May 29th, the distressed parents of Julie took the grave step of reporting their daughters missing to the local authorities, which initiated a search that would ultimately culminate in a heart-wrenching discovery. Park rangers, alongside dedicated local volunteers and state troopers, meticulously combed through the trails and campsites where Lolly and Julie were last seen. The enormity of their task was formidable. The sprawling park, coupled with its thick underbrush and rugged landscape, posed significant challenges to the search efforts. It was not until June 1st that a significant breakthrough occurred. With concern intensifying with each fleeting hour, the rangers focused their efforts on a more secluded area of the park near the Skyland Resort. Concealed within the dense foliage, adjacent to their campsite, the rangers unearthed the lifeless bodies of Lolly and Julie. The scene was haunting. The women were discovered with their throats brutally slashed, their bodies laid bare and vulnerable, a grim testament to a violent and calculated act. In the early stages of the investigation, attention turned to Darrell David Rice, a man with a disconcerting history. Rice, a local inhabitant with a documented record of violence against women, quickly emerged as a primary suspect. Authorities noted that he had faced accusations of assaults in the very same park, establishing a troubling link to the horrific murders. Rice was charged, and it appeared that the case was on the verge of resolution. However, in 2004, the investigation encountered a significant obstacle when prosecutors dismissed the charges against Rice after DNA evidence failed to establish any connection to the crime scene. This revelation was a devastating setback for those yearning for justice for Lolly and Julie. Yet, in the aftermath of this stagnation, a pivotal breakthrough emerged in 2021, nearly 25 years after the tragic discovery of Lolly Winans and Julie Williams. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's Richmond Field Office, propelled by advancements in forensic technology and a steadfast commitment to resolving the cold case, revisited the evidence with renewed vigor. They meticulously revisited previous leads, re-examined witness testimonies, and applied contemporary testing methods to DNA samples that had been collected earlier. In June 2024, a pivotal moment arrived when a fresh round of DNA analysis unveiled a remarkable match. This advanced testing revealed a DNA profile that traced back to Walter Leo Jackson Sr., a convicted serial offender with a deeply concerning criminal record. Jackson, who had been incarcerated in an Ohio prison until his death in 2018, became the renewed focal point of the investigation. The significance of this match extended beyond merely identifying a suspect. It provided nearly absolute certainty that Jackson was the perpetrator of the heinous crimes. Although Jackson had passed away, the disclosure of his identity elicited a complex blend of relief and grief for the victims' families. Tom Williams, Julie's father, expressed that it mattered little to him that the man who harmed his daughter was no longer alive. He found solace in the knowledge that the true culprit had been identified, affirming that it was indeed the right individual responsible for the murders and other assaults. In 1978, the lifeless form of an 18-year-old woman was unearthed beside a road in Germany, bearing the marks of 14 brutal stab wounds and a series of perplexing clues. This haunting case left investigators in a state of bewilderment. As time slipped by, the investigation grew increasingly cold. However, Recent breakthroughs in forensic science have reignited interest in this harrowing crime. With old leads being revisited and new evidence surfacing, the shadowy truths of that tragic night may finally be unveiled. Cornelia Humpfer, a vibrant 18-year-old from Germany, was a cherished member of her church's music ensemble, the Band of Jericho, where her talent and commitment were widely celebrated. Yet her life took a sorrowful turn when she became romantically entangled with Tommy Molina, a 24-year-old American soldier stationed in Schweinfurt during the late 1970s. Accompanied by his first wife, Linda Molina, and their young son, Tommy, was part of the extensive American military presence in Germany, which included numerous service members and their families. Cornelia and Tommy's relationship was riddled with challenges, as they were compelled to conceal their affair from Tommy's wife, often seeking refuge in secluded locations or within the confines of his vehicle. Ultimately, their clandestine romance would spiral into a dark and violent episode. On the morning of April 21, 1978, Cornelia Humpfer's body was discovered in a tranquil area near Schweinfurt, the scene marked by the horror of her 14 stab wounds to the neck and back. Initial investigations led to a witness who recalled seeing a small car with a green license plate near the crime scene, a crucial detail as American military vehicles in Germany typically bore green plates. This description aligned with a Fiat 124 owned by Tommy Molina. As the investigation progressed, German authorities summoned Tommy for questioning just 5 days after the tragic event. He asserted that he had spent the evening at home with his wife, Linda. However, when Linda was interrogated, her inability to recall the specifics of that night raised questions about Tommy's alibi. The autopsy disclosed that Cornelia had suffered fatal stab wounds, leaving behind vital evidence that could potentially connect the crime to her attacker. Despite the meticulous findings, which included the nature of the injuries and the presence of male DNA within her body, the investigation soon stagnated. In 1978, forensic science had not yet evolved sufficiently to establish a definitive link between Tommy and the crime scene. Although a witness's description of a green license plate corresponded with Tommy's vehicle, this alone was insufficient to implicate him in the stabbing. The initial absence of solid evidence and the difficulties in directly associating Tommy with the crime resulted in a sluggish investigation. Months turned into years, with minimal progress. In 1995, a pivotal lead surfaced when Tommy Molina's third wife, Cindy Neuad, informed U.S. Army criminal investigators that Tommy had, while under the influence, confessed to her about his role in Cornelia's murder. He disclosed that he had been involved in an affair with Cornelia, who was pregnant with his child, and had threatened to reveal their relationship. This confession, though not immediately actionable, kept the case alive in the minds of investigators. Nevertheless, when questioned again in 1996, Tommy denied any wrongdoing, causing the investigation to stall once more. However, advancements in DNA technology in the ensuing decades rekindled hope. In 2019, German authorities opted to revisit the cold case, requesting a new blood sample from Cornelia's preserved remains. A federal warrant was issued in October 2020, enabling the Federal Bureau of Investigation to collect a fresh blood sample from Tommy Molina. The forensic analysis of this sample, when compared to DNA retrieved from Cornelia's clothing, confirmed a match. In June 2023, Tommy Molina was apprehended at his residence in Gering, Nebraska, following an extensive investigation spanning several decades. He is currently in the process of awaiting extradition to Germany, where he confronts the prospect of facing justice for his alleged crime. Although Tommy and Linda Neuad finalized their divorce in 1996, the couple rekindled their relationship, with Linda steadfastly supporting him during his extradition hearings. Tommy's legal team contended that the prosecution's case lacked sufficient strength to justify extradition throughout a series of hearings since his arrest. Nevertheless, in May 2024, the U.S. District Court sanctioned the extradition, determining that he would be transported to Germany within the forthcoming weeks. By June 2024, he had arrived in Germany, where he was promptly presented before a judge at the Schweinfurt District Court. The date for his trial is expected to be announced shortly, as he faces a potential sentence of up to 15 years in prison